Howdy guys, and welcome back to the channel. I'll be doing some more painting today for the charger. It won't be a terribly long video for you guys, but alright, so let's get to it. I'm going to lean the camera down here so y'all can see it a little bit better. Okay, so last video we did paint up a couple of parts. So I was actually thinking of putting some things together, such as these two pieces. I have to pull it out. Let's see here. I'm going to do up these pieces right here. And let's do it. Grab a pair of clippers here. Alright, if any of you ever want to go out and try one of these models, say if you're a novice or an amateur, I would highly recommend you looking up videos on what this kit, kind of what the challenge is, because this kit, from what I saw, this kit is a little over 50 years old, so it hasn't had any new retoolings or anything. It's been like that. It's this whole kit itself. What you get in it has been untouched in terms of retooling or anything since its inception, is what I hear from other YouTubers. And again, a little over 50 years, could be almost 60 years. So what I highly recommend is there is another kit from AMT. It's their Coca-Cola 69 charger. I think that one is a little bit easier, but again, go look up videos on what their experiences are with this kit, and as well as with other kits, other 69 charger. Now, if you are looking for a challenge and you don't want to go with MPC's charger, I do recommend, although I haven't built one in many years, I was a amateur when I started out with when I did Revel's 69 Charge RT. It's a good kit. It's got pretty much everything you need. It's from what people say in the comments, is that they actually threw this model out and then just went and got Revel's charger. So again, look around on the internet if you want a challenge. I hear this one is that challenge that make people rage quit, if you will. So I would say keep an open mind if you are wanting to work with this charger. Again, I'm just starting the glue process here. I haven't glued anything in, but I am test fitting. I have to shave some things down here. So, again, I will say this is test fit all of your parts before you glue them together. I had mentioned that in one of my other videos on the Enterprise, is just test fit all of your parts before gluing them together. I noticed here is that you can see some buildup right here. That's where paint just sat. So you just take your little knife and you're just peeling off the paint. That's all you're doing, is just peeling off the paint. see. Okay, looks a little bit better. Now you can see the gaps within it along here. That's okay for me. The tools I recommend for keeping it in place. Oh, come on. Alright, these guys right here. I got these from Hub Hobby in Richfield. If you live here in Minnesota, hopefully that's not too far away, or if you have a Michael's nearby, or a Hobby Lobby, these tools, these big ones, if you're dealing with big stuff or if you're dealing with something like this, it is well worth the money to get one of these. As you can see here. Now, of course, you do have different, you do have other styles of clamps. This one right here, I would say the clamp strength is better on this guy. I got this one from, I want to say, Michael's. So it all kind of depends on what. It all kind of depends. But if you've been watching me since the Enterprise, if you've been with me since the Enterprise build, you notice that on the secondary hull, I basically used vice grips. So use whatever is at your disposal, I'd say. Now I will show you this, is that when it's lined up, when the front is flush and everything, is that here I notice that at the back here, where the drivetrain goes into, is that you'll see is that you have it's taller right here. So just gonna take my knife here and then just go right up against it. Come on. I'm just gonna shave things off. Okay. It's a little bit tough sometimes when you're trying to hold two pieces together, especially if you want to get it lined up. Okay. It is better. So we'll go like that. We're gonna take our piece here. I'm just gonna put glue all around the edging here. Slap them together. Just put our clamps on. Just leave it be for a day. If I can find my. I know where I put it. I bought a box from Harbor Freight. It's about yay wide, and it's got individual slots. And I put a bunch of my paints in there, as well as my glue and a few other things. So it's very, very helpful for me, especially if I need to carry some things over or just store paints in there. All right. Okay. Alright, time for the gluing process. Okay. I'm just going to pick it up and move it right over here off to the side. So that's all glued together. Both of these parts are flat aluminum. These are the... Is that on? I think it's on both sides. Yeah, so these, I believe, are... actually, the top is for the carburetors, the sides... I forget. No, but the part number 21. Both parts labeled 21. These guys right here are the exhaust manifold parts on the engine. The other parts are, I forget the name. If you know what they are, you know what they are. I cannot remember. I'm trying to like bring in a little like bit of mechanic terms to go with all this. Kind of, I would, in a sense, educate, if you will. You can obviously look this stuff up by yourself. I just like to add it within these videos about a little bit. Camshaft. That's what it is. These camshafts. That's what it is. I actually had to take apart the camshaft of my sister's Toyota RAV4. That was fun. Alright, what we're going to paint these up here. Again, exhaust manifolds, those are... Now it says it's for aluminum. I have flat aluminum. There we go. I have Tester's flat aluminum. There's one of my brushes. Here we go. Alright. Flat aluminum. Here we go. Now when it comes to painting with a smaller brush for parts like this, Tester's paint goes on extremely easy. You can paint over spots if it doesn't... when it comes to Tester's paint, say if you didn't get enough paint in that area, you can just take your brush, go back over it, and it looks pretty good. However, with Tamiya's paints, I'm not sure, maybe it's just my paintbrushes or something, or what brush I use, it doesn't like that. If I wanted to go add more paint, I'd have to use maybe a different brush or something, or maybe it's just Tester's paints is better for like an airbrush paint type, maybe. Who knows? And one thing I didn't say this. One thing I will say, give one second here. Go. But actually, a good tip right now is before you start painting, what you saw, what I did there is I had to trim off a bit of excess plastic. So just check your pieces and just see if you need to take off any plastic. What I was going to say before is when I was taking off the parts from the spruce here, I failed to mention that is that when it's done gluing, so like after a day, I would say a day is pretty good. It does say a couple hours, but if you're only wanting to do like bits at a time, a day is pretty good with when it comes to glue. But if you want to, you can go. I highly recommend that you go in and paint up areas where the piece connected to the spruce. But if the part is going to be covered up by another part, I would say you don't have to, unless you really want to. If it makes you feel better, if you will. That's good. Hopefully y'all can see the painting that I'm doing here. Sorry, I have the paintbrush in my mouth. Hopefully the better camera angle helps you see what I'm doing here. It's actually almost comforting in a sense that if I want to go back and look at my videos, or if I want to go to a specific spot in the video, is that what I see isn't going to be my face. Not that it's bad, but I do see how it's better when all you see is the work being done. So, all right. Hopefully my rambling isn't boring you at all. Alright, we're getting there. Today, one of my packages I got were my brakes for my Toyota. Because I want to fix up my Toyota a bit. Need new front tires. Probably gonna get tires all around. And then check to see what my see how my alignment is. I would say it's just by driving it every day. It's like, yeah, it's gonna need one. And then now I'm just waiting for the parts for my truck. It's an exhaust manifold gasket. And there was one other part. I cannot remember for the life of me. But it had something to do with... I don't remember what it was. Maybe I'll mention it in another video, but we're almost done with it. I will be happy to, when I'm finished with it, be able to drive it again. And the other thing that will have to be tackled by Dad and I is our tractors. We stuck in Briggs & Stratton engines, and they've been working pretty well until right before our vacation when they decided to pop out on us for some strange reason. Now they do need an oil change. Never done an oil change on them, but the other thing is just there's power to it. It's just not turning over. And if it does, it's only going to be working for just a little bit long, just for a short while. So one thing that is indicative is that we still have good batteries. My dad and I, when we were talking about this when we were showing me about when he was helping trying to figure out what was wrong with the truck, it was an old broken wire. Now thinking about that, maybe there is something busted with an electric wire or something, because on my truck, you had your dashboard lights all were on. You had good dashboard lights and whatnot, but it just wasn't turning over. You could hear it, you could crank it, but it just wasn't turning over. So, in addition to oil changes, we've got an electrical problem, to which he and I came to the same conclusion when I spoke to him about the tractors. So, it's a little bit of something to know. Good to know that hopefully we don't have to replace the engines. Because just replacing some things it's not cheap. It's never cheap. There's always some new expense to go along with it. It's the painful part of being a family mechanic. But thankfully, if they can buy their own parts and everything, they know what parts they need. They know where to go to buy it. Then all you have to do is just replace the part and get paid. Alright, here we go. Exhaust manifold pieces all painted up in flat aluminum. Back it out just a bit. It looks pretty good. A little bit rough in a couple areas, but it's really, really good. Now, I'm going to turn the camera here. I have my paints all lined up right here. And when it comes to something like that, actually, hang on. I'm just going to hold this thing in my mouth. But now that I'm done with it, here goes there. I don't know. Yeah, I went there. But sometimes, what I like to do is I like to put my spruces on top of something like that. So it just sits right there. It doesn't have to sit on the ground or anything. It's all set. So, I'll turn the camera back. I'm gonna bring the manual up here. So this part that I circle here, I will most likely paint that a different color, probably to match. Let's see, the drivetrain. That's the rod that runs right underneath the car that hooks up to the rear differentials. This piece right here, that is black. That's odd. I know a choice of a color for that. Yeah, we're gonna paint it black. So that's what I'll do when we get to that stage. Now, one thing about some of these cars here, such as this car, AMT's, Coca-Cola. I believe it's the same for the Coca-Cola, AMT's Coca-Cola 69 Charger, but I believe it's the same. Is this? Notice for the rear here, you have a metal axle rod. Now, that was also used on my. I'm not sure who did it, but it was for my Ford Galaxy. It was basically the same setup, but there wasn't an engine or anything to put in it. You just had these two parts, wheels, and maybe a windows, and maybe an extra part or two, and that was pretty much it. It was more bare bones than this here. So, alright. That's all glued together. Those two are painted up. Are those? I think those are. Just trying to look at if I think those are silver. Let me check here. Yes, they are silver. They are my silver ones. Now, these are all chrome silver. Now, I have seen other people just scratch it off, just remove it entirely, and then repaint it. I'm not sure how I would do it with these guys. I may just paint over them. So, we shall see what happens. Those are both 107, yeah. So we're just going to clip these off here. Oops. Yeah. Okay. Cool. This plastic here is a little bit easier to cut with. Don't know why, but it is. Oh well, let's just break them off like this. They're black underneath, just given a chrome coating. So again, just clean up your pieces here from when you take them off the spruce. Just so they don't look crooked or anything when you want to start painting them. I'm just shaking up. This is chrome silver from Tamiya, X-11, item 81511. But you can use whatever brand. Again, one thing I will say is you can use whatever brand of paint you want. It can be a Tamiya, Testers, whatever. There's a whole lineup of that stuff out there. Okay. Let's get this here. Okay. So we got some other reverse pliers. I think these are reverse pliers. I'm not sure. These are nice. Almost a little too tight. Yeah, that works pretty well. Okay. Just gonna grab our brush cleaner and just clean off this brush. Okay. Let's clean off. I'll just use a different brush for doing this. Okay. Now, for something like this, when you don't want to just lay on the ground, you just lay it over a piece of, lay it over a roll of tape like that, and then just leave it. Something like that, if you will. So, right, we're just going to shake it up again, just to make sure it's all good. Just a little shake. Okay. Now, what I have seen some people do, actually I saw one person do this, is when they got this kit, is that they soaked it in water, and I think the soapy water, I believe, and then cleaned it so that it takes off that sort of glossy look of the parts, I think. Just gonna bring my dish here closer. All right. One thing that I may do with the channel here is do reviews of stuff. Like just talk about movies or something, or maybe video games. The sky's the limits. So it's not just going to be dedicated to building models. So, but definitely models are staples are definitely going to be the staples for this channel. All right. So here is the clear the difference. Flat aluminum, and it's just, is it aluminum? Did I just, no, chrome silver. So chrome silver, just chrome. So chrome silver, just chrome. So for me, I kind of like the dull, muted colors a bit. It's it kind of fits my aesthetic of everything. When it settles, the paint for like flat colors, when it settles, it's coating and how it looks. It draws me to it in the sense that I like using it. It's darker than its base color, and it gives it a new bit of a personality, if you will. Like when you get a new car, it looks all shiny and everything. You gotta get it on the road. And then when you get it on the road and everything, you take it through the elements. It dulls it dulls the shininess. it has been weathered, if you will. And this is kind of what I want to do, that these muted colors here, I am basically weathering them in my own way, so that when you look at it, it's like, in some spots, it's been weathered. Now, what I could have done is I could have painted the engine a flat orange. But then again, but some colors you may not find in the flat color, so you just, for some of those pieces, I like to do with a flat color, such as the full body, its undercarriage, that sort of thing. So I know when it comes to weathering of parts, there we go. They're both done. Now I know when it comes to the weathering of model kits, people have their own thing. Me, I just like to grab flat colors of it, give it that used look, if you will. Okay. Now in the instructions, it doesn't tell you to do anything about the about those chrome pieces. I just like to do them. Now, if you want to leave them chrome, go right ahead. Again, it's your model. You can paint it however you want. You can paint it pink, purple, white, blue, kind of however you want. And I will say, when it comes to cars from like the 60s and 70s, before cars these days, like every car looks like a copy. And they say, oh, it's different, and they're not that far off. It's just who makes them is what's different. But the basic shape and everything, a four-door pickup, a two-door pickup, well, probably not a two-door pickup, but a four-door pickup, a four-door sedan, a four-door minivan. They're all basically the same. If you look at them and you squint your eyes, like, oh, they're the exact same car, just by different manufacturers. They've got their own specs, but the body trim, as they call it, the trim is basically the same. It's the exact same. Now, with cars from the 60s and 70s, if you will, they had character. I think that's all the parts we're going to do tonight. I won't do anything else. But with a 69 Charger, let's use a 69 Charger. Is it Charger? But one of Dodge's muscle cars, you could paint it plum purple, and it looked cool, because it was, each car had their own distinct features. They were all a separate car. They were something. They didn't look like each other. Now, obviously, if you bought the same, you're going to see the same car out there. If you put yourself in that area, you're going to see the same car out there. But how people painted them, how they were painted, you could buy from videos that I've seen. Little short guys, when he's talking little shorts, he's talking about 1970s classic Ford pickups. They all came with their own features. You could pick the trim, you could pick what seating you wanted, what extra stuff, a radio, or that sort of thing. You could pick that thing. That was what could be picked. You could ask for that. Yes, it cost a little bit more money, but you could ask for that. You could probably ask for a certain color, a certain trim, wheel size, engine, that sort of thing. That was what it was like back in the 60s and 70s. You could order up that stuff, and you could have, I think you'd have to go get it from the dealership, or even say if the manufacturer is there in your state, you could probably go pick it up there. And that's the beauty of when it comes to, when you have, say, let's use models as an example. When it comes to models of classic cars, or even pickups, or just model cars that are kind of this day and age, paint it however you want. It could be the wackiest color you want, and hey, Some people, I even saw one gentleman who painted the 1/1000 scale Polar Lights Enterprise pink. It was, what was it for? The pink, the color pink represents. It was a cancer awareness. I believe it was cancer awareness. You could paint it up like that. It can you paint it up to mean it could, for something like that, it might get someone asking questions like, oh, why'd you paint it up this color? Well, it's because maybe their granddad had it painted up this way or something, or maybe they like the car but they like the color scheme of a different car, and or even they could maybe it's to give their support for cancer awareness or men's mental health, or someone could paint it up colors. What's another color? I can't remember if there's colors for other awarenesses. I think there are. I just don't remember. But you can paint it up however you want. You could make it however you want. And even some people have hodgepodged kits together. They'll take wheels or other like trim pieces, and they'll just hodgepodge them into another kit. So there's that. There's an infinite amount of things you could do. Again, 1/1000 scale Enterprise. It came with 3 different options. It came with first production. It came with first pilot, second pilot, the production version, and even with the decals. You could do it mirror universe. You can do it prime universe. Let's give an example of the prime universe. You could do it Defiant, the Constellation, obviously the Enterprise. There were a few others as well. So these kits, they give you the opportunity to express yourself artistically. Maybe you have favorite colors. There's a whole slew of ways you can do it. There's so much you can do with it. Or even if you are, I hate using the word religious. Not that it's bad. It's let's just say if you're Christian and you want to put the cross on, if you want to put the cross on the hood, put it on the door, put it anywhere on the body, go right ahead. It opens up the conversation. How you paint it, or what colors you painted, what symbols you give next, what you put it to it. Maybe you put on a decal of your favorite band, of your favorite movies, what emblem comes from a game, a movie, emblem of your favorite artist, or anything. It gets or even paint schemes. What that does is it gets it, when someone asks about it, it gets the ball rolling. You get to talk about it. Like for me, I like building model kits because I get to paint it up the way I like to, or even it's one of my favorite shows. Although I haven't watched the entirety of the show, I have watched it. I really do want to finish it. I don't remember which season I'm in, but let's use this. This is the car from Supernatural. This is Baby right here. And I want to say this is the one. Yeah, most cars, I guess, are in 1/25th scale, but this is Baby. This is from Supernatural. Yes, obviously the lettering and everything is all backwards because the screen is facing towards me. And if you want to, and again, for something like that, obviously you want to stick to you want to stick to its true colors. However, you don't have to. You can paint it however you want. I did have to go over this with a few coats of gloss. Now, it's not perfect. I will show you. Is that you can see like some, I think those were bubbles there. It is rough, but I tried to do it as best I could. But this one, I'm really excited to do. Now again, that is kit number 5. That is going to be a while. So it's just something for that. But it however you make the model, and if someone asks about it, it gets the ball rolling. It gets you to talking about it. It can be something fun, enjoyable, and beautiful at the same time. And when you are finished with it, it brings a smile to your face. I have no doubt that when people have completed their models, however long it took them, it brings a smile to their face. That they are happy to be able to have that kit, whatever kit it may be, to have that, and be able to make it, and to just enjoy it. That is the beauty of modeling, of model kits. It can be a plane, a boat, a submarine, anything. So, and you get to have fun with it. So, if you guys have any questions or comments, go ahead and stick them down in the comment section. I will do my best to answer them. Sometimes I do take a while to answer them, because when I check the notifications on my phone, sometimes I am at work, and I will literally just pull out my phone, check notifications, just put it back in my pocket. That is it. So I'll do my best to answer them as best I can. I hope you guys are liking the new camera angle. Hopefully you can see everything. So, with that, the next we'll do is when we take some parts off, we'll obviously give it maybe a little extra paint there when we're done. Again, we're just moving on. We're just going just video by video, piece by piece, one foot in front of the other kind of thing. So, I leave you all to the rest of your day. May your day go better than may continue to go as best as it can, hopefully better than the previous day. And I will see you all in the next one. I love y'all. Peace.